Hello and welcome to another Micro Minute with me, Marty Jobson. This time, I thought what I'd show you is something a bit different actually than I've shown before, because I thought what we'd look at today is one of these. This thing here, this is my phone, it's an iPhone, and I thought, well, in fact, you're probably looking at one right now, let's face it. What does this look like under a microscope? Okay, let me show you in detail what's going on here. So I'll bring up my little camera. So here's my microphone. I'll turn it the right way around for you. There you go. So here's my phone here, iPhone. I can't remember what model it is, but and this is actually the software that I use to control all of the technology. I can turn it on and I can turn it off, and I can have the picture in picture and all this sort of stuff. It's all very clever stuff. But basically, this is my little remote control system. So what does this look like if I put it under the microscope? Well, you have to begin to understand a little bit about how one of these things, a screen, works. Okay, I'm going to turn that around so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go back to the main display there. Okay, good. So how does this thing work? Well, what you've got here is you have a sheet of LED. So you know what an LED is, a light emitting diode. It's what's in these sort of energy saving light bulbs. So you have a complete sheet of white light beaming out. And then on top of that, you have a sandwich of LCD, liquid crystal display sandwich, okay, which is made up of millions and millions and millions of individually addressable shutters, essentially. Okay, so loads and loads of tiny little crystal displays that can be turned on and turned off. And when they're turned, let me get this straight, when they're turned on, they turn clear. And when they're turned off, they turn black. Okay, that's a subtlety. It doesn't really matter. Basically, what you can do is you have shutters that will allow the light through, and you can turn them. You can have them open so the light goes through, and you can have them closed and the light doesn't go through. And then on top of that, you put colors, all of which, I'm now going to stick this underneath here. This is the bit where I have to use this and put it under the microscope at the same time. So bear with me on this. So I'm going to turn off the cameras, put myself in the corner there. Right, so now you're getting the feed from the camera. And as I put this under, what we're going to look at first is a little bit of the white. Okay, so there's a bit of white. Oops, if I get this positioned right. Okay, and you can see that it looks white until I focus it, because at the moment we're way out of focus. And as soon as I bring it into focus, you can begin to see the individual. Do you remember I said there were like lots and lots of little shutters? And there they are. And each one of these is a tenth of a millimeter across. Okay, less than that. Each one of the, well, it's actually in fact less than that. You've got, yeah, it's about a tenth of a millimeter side to side. And each one of the little coloured bars is about a third of a tenth of a millimeter vertically. And each one of these is an individual pixel, or at least each group of three colours, red, green, and blue, are together make up one pixel, one tiny unit on your display. Although you can turn on and off the green, the red, and the blue individually. When you have them all on, it looks white. And if I focus it out, okay, you can see that together, when you combine those colours, you get white. Focus back in, and it goes red. If I move to another part of the display, now this is actually the stop button on my display. So the center, it's white, and then it's red on the outside. So if I just shunt it across to the edge, this way, I'll go this way. And as soon as you see, there's the edge of the display. Oops, out of focus now. And then you can see, focus out, it's red and white, come into focus, and you've got all three pixels. But if I go right into the red section, focus, 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 focus. Now all you've got are the red pixels. Okay, so just the individual red bits are turned on. So remember, this is white light that's coming through the bottom, and it's going through a little shutter, and over the top of the shutter there's a little bit of red color. So the white light, only the red light comes through. If I go to a green section here, all the green pixels are turned on, all the red pixels are turned off, and the blue pixels are turned off. So you just see green. And then again, right down, hang on, to this bit here. This is a blue part of the picture, and it looks pretty blue. If I zoom in though, you'll see, or focus in, I should say. Am I focusing in or am I focusing out? I'm focusing out. Focus in, focus in, focus in. Here we go, here we go, here we go. And there it is. Actually, it's not pure blue. The red that I showed you and the green were pretty much primary red and primary green. But this particular shade of blue has actually got, well, it's got plenty of, I'm not sure this is going to show up very well. Can you see that? Yeah, you can just about see that. Can you see all the blue pixels are quite bright? The green pixels are quite bright. There's quite a lot of green in this color, this bluish color as well. And there's even a little bit of red because you can see the red pixels. If I defocus, you can see the color, and that's that sort of color. So it's a sort of a greenish blue. It's not a primary blue. Focus in nicely like that. And there you go. But if I go back to the white, which is in the middle here again, you can see it's a bit brighter, focus in nicely, but there you can see all the individual things. So there you go. That's what a liquid crystal display from a mobile phone, a colored liquid crystal display, looks like. Clearly, as always, thanks go to the lovely folk at Zeiss for these microscopes. My name is Marty Jobson. You've been listening to another Micro Minute. I hope that was interesting. I've got a whole load more material sciencey things and things to do with mobile phones that I'll be showing you in weeks to come. Come back on, let's see, the next one will be on Wednesday. See you then. Bye-bye.